was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Be like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm 19 years old and I'm a musician.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm 20 and I study at UCT.
Hi, I'm Sabina. I'm 18 and I'm also at UCT.
Hi, I'm AJ. I'm 18 and I'm studying at Inkscape, interior design.
Hi, I'm Hannes. I'm 21. I study at Inkscape graphic design.
Hi, I'm Antoinette. I'm 23 and I study in Bloemfontein.
Hi, I'm Esper. I'm 21 and I'm studying interior architecture.
Being Afrikaans is a diverse thing. It depends on where you live. Like the Afrikaans people here are very open, very free people, very chilled in a way, and then the platteland Afrikaans people where I'm from are very set in their ways, very Afrikaans if you think about it. That's all I can say. Very conservative. Yeah, this thing of very conservative people.
Like my grandparents are very typical traditional conservative Afrikaans, but they're changing now a lot as well. I think they're kind of seeing that they have to change. Like my aunt's a lesbian and she just got inseminated. And they were so against it until they saw the little kids. So, they're also evolving, I think. I think it's just something they have to break away.
Yeah, there's a bigger
picture. Which we never had to do because we kind of grew up this modern age.
Yeah, I think people are confusing Afrikaans dying with Afrikaans evolving.
Yeah. No matter where you go, if there's a group of English people and an Afrikaans person's there, then sorry, we're not going to talk Afrikaans.
Yeah.
If it's a group of Afrikaans people and there's one English person, then every single Afrikaans person will make the effort. They change, and they speak English.
It happened earlier today, here the same.
It
happened here.
If I hear Kombuis Afrikaans, the first thing's yo, gangster. I'm scared now.
It's just cool because it's actually a dialect. These people have their own literature. We have this whole talk about the way they speak.
It's they're still trying to find their own identity within something that's something else's identity. So Afrikaans was Afrikaans, but now they've taken it into their own in a way. So
it's a subculture.
It's a subculture of Afrikaans, so that they still have their own identity. They haven't been, conformed to a certain thing that they didn't really want to.
I'm in a group of friends that's English as hell, and I'm the only one that can bribe.
Okay, fine.
Actually, sometimes I bribe better than the men that I live with. Okay, so
You're Brian tonight.
they burn my steaks. I'm what is this? Come on.
It's the new Afrikaans Briars. Your dad didn't teach you.
There's this massive move from the suburban Afrikaans life to the more accepting way of everything is changing, and that because it was so natural in our family, we just took it easier. I think I don't know. It comes down a lot. My parents say the country is crap.
Yeah.
But only because they knew it as a different way of life, and I have come to accept that it is crap, but it is getting better in some ways.
At school, there'd be different racial relationships, and some of the Afrikaans parents would be what the fuck is happening at Union High School, because all these white girls are dating black boys now.
Yeah.
That was no, this can't happen. But what's happening?
I think my parents would be
they freaked out, and I was guys, it's really not the end of the world, but
that was a big thing in Union.
They have none of that.
The
it
town
still
we're from.
is. They can't stand it.
Because Hoffman is just so weird because it's this very Afrikaans and the very English school, and they have so much friction. So.
I think that's the difference between rural and urban areas, because you kind of mix in a lot with everyone and everybody, but in rural areas it's very cliquey. It's this group belongs to that group and this group belongs here.
Yeah.
And if you break up that,
how dare you, Siba?
Yeah,
honestly.
But it's its own downfall though. Afrikaans, that whole here thing we just mentioned, it's its own downfall. All that conservatism and all that, they constructed this whole idea of how people should be, and if the moment people
but that's because of the history.
But people don't give a shit anymore. People don't. We don't care. I'm pretty well. It's not we're rebellious in any way. It's we just don't have time for shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to see what's gonna happen in 50 years' time.
I stayed on a farm. I went to play with the little kids there. My mum would come and hopefully shouldn't play with them, you get lice and all that, ta 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 ta, and they're my friends. So it actually started there, but
their attitude stemmed from a time where it was against the law. It was a time where the rules were different to what the rules are now.
Yeah.
So their prejudices are because of their time, and it's difficult. How do you change a mentality that was there for ages for them, and yet now they have to embrace it.
Like we accept that everything we believe in is true and all our laws are true, but that would be like they changed our laws.
Exactly.
We'd feel exactly the same as they do.
Because we're a generation that stems from revolutions in so many different ways. And
it's
yet,
almost as if we have nothing left to fight for,
like,
because
except
what
to
is the
be
major
more strange
issue?
or to be more like out there, like try and find different things. Yeah.
I think the conservatism issue was actually almost a good thing. It opened people's minds the way that we realized we have many more other cock to deal with than this low level shit. Like South Africa has so many problems, yet we finally realized that doesn't matter. We have so many other stuff to figure out that's not important at all.
When apartheid used to be there, and then now this new era is coming, they're like still like changing all these names and all these buildings going down. Like they get so annoyed because that's the history they lived in, and now basically like I think it's the ANC, they like want to destroy everything.
Yeah.
So also like that's also part of Afrikaans, like
roads falling.
like we're changing, but we don't want that our history to go away.
At UCT, this girl Laura Lee, she spoke and she said that when roads eventually fell, she felt, it wasn't just the black people. Afrikaans people were stuck in concentration camps because of roads and Kitchener. And then she was just like, it's not. It didn't just affect the blacks. It also affected me so much more.
Yeah.
And that was so
wasn't even
hard.
covered.
Exactly. No one really cared about that. And
that I think
if anyone was supposed to fight against roads, I would have thought it was Afrikaans people.
But the only reason I was completely against the roads falling, it was a good idea, but it was just we shouldn't be destroying what happened. We should be building on that. We should keep that as a reminder, not destroy whatever reminders we had, because we will make the same mistakes we already did.
Yeah, you were like the first white girl at our school to date a black guy.
I took a black man home. Not home, I'm sorry, I went to dinner. I was at school, but I remember my sister, she wasn't very happy with the whole situation.
Because
she said,
she was giving me grief.
Yes, I know.
They were
but
like, your sister's dating a black boy. And I was like, yeah, sorry. They were like these older guys and they were Afrikaans. Remember the Van Rensburg?
Yes, I know, but you brought it up and you sort of said it's all good and whatever, but you gave me a lot of grief for it at a stage. It was terrible. I broke up with him. And then when I got back together with him, it was fine. But
Marky was amazing.
He was, and he is still amazing. He's not dead. And and then I had my matric farewell. We had to take photographs at one of the uppity places in Crawfordnet, and we were standing out there, and all the families from white families were standing around drinking champagne, and Marky and I walked in. And there was this lull in conversation.
It
was so awkward, and I hated every minute. I was like, "We gotta go. This is just this is so weird." This is where my sister impressed me, because she just came to us and she said, "Go guys, let's go take photos." And we walked into the middle of the yard, started taking photos, and everyone started following us and started taking pictures too.
Yeah.
And that was quite a surreal moment.
Like this one guy, oh my goodness, my little brother, my older brother, he came back home. And I was like, where were you? He's like, no, I was playing with Pila. But I always had this weird name. I was like, oh, where did you hear this word? He's like, no, it's my little friend there. And I was like, oh my goodness, the maid's child. What name is this?
We have ways of doing things that we're used to, we work, let's say you work hard. And if you have to deal with someone of, let's say, a different color or the same color who does not work hard, you're kind of going to be, this is not, I can't deal with your mentality and the way you do things. And that sometimes becomes a racist issue, because it's like, oh no, he's fired me because I'm black. But it's not, it's because you're incompetent. And it seems to be an excuse a lot of the time. And I think Afrikaners get slated for that a lot, because, here you are, you run a farm and you've got workers and you need them to do the job, and then they don't, and you fire them, and then you're now the racist Afrikaner. Let's kill the boot, and that's hectic. That is, and it's such an undermining who you are as a nation, and also who the nation is as to the person who's doing the job wrong. Because if you're going to use the idea that your skin color is a problem, then you have a problem with yourself. It's really sad. Take them away from the Afrikaners as well.
They're taking farms away
take it
to
away
give.
is also not going to help, because it's then it's too easy for someone else to get it, and then they don't work for it, and they don't work the land the way it should be.
People use their own like shortcomings, they will use race as the excuse because that's the easiest thing to go to.
And it goes both ways. It's not just black
exactly,
being black. It's both. We all feel like we sometimes service delivery is really bad for white people, and it's because I'm white, whatever. It's
I mean, we're the new generation. We do not need to prove anything.
You just I'm Afrikaans. You like?
They'll probably
I'm
tell.
Afrikaans and I'm not racist.
Yes.
So it's okay.
There's no need anymore for us to say that. Just come across as a good person. That's all that matters. The only differentiating thing in like culture now is good people and bad people. I don't know. Like you said, people look down on Afrikaans people a lot, and I feel that's a very bad thing. Like
I did that a lot. When I was in Bloem, I did that. I was like, I'm English, I'm above you, and this is how I roll, And it was,
you're right. When I go to Stellenbosch,
it was terrible.
and I see the little puppies, I'm just like, oh, look at these Afrikaans puppies, like trying to find a husband, and it's terrible.
Get married to a boo.
As a child, I actually felt really ashamed of being Afrikaans though. Like, when I was about 13, I hated it because the only Afrikaans people I really had to look up to were my grandparents. I'm like, this is not what I want to be. But then I met so many people that I can actually have a solid conversation with that aren't judgmental. And I think that whole stereotype about Afrikaans, it's not relevant at all.
It stems into the media and politics, and where they try to destroy and remove Afrikaans. The whole looking down thing, that idea of having to look down, destroyed the whole, like, I'm gonna call it a vibe. Like that's when people started to move it away because people looked down on it, and that's the only reason why it started to diminish, and the idea of people thinking it diminished while it actually is still very strong. Like especially Cape Town, Afrikaans culture is so strong. You might not want to admit it, but look at names of places, names of streets, everything. It's so predominant here.
I was born in Stellenbosch or whatever.
Yeah.
But when we go play shows in Stellenbosch or whatever, like it's quite weird. The Afrikaans English is very divided, and you can literally see that by the Afrikaans people go to their like clubs, like Tollies or whatever they call it. And then all the English people would go to like Mystics and like the cool places. And
but there definitely is a language barrier.
It's still
at Stellenbosch, I don't know how true this is, but someone told me that some of the subjects they actually have Afrikaans options.
No, they have option English or Afrikaans.
Which UCT doesn't have. And I have met people at UCT that are a lot more Afrikaans than I am, and they actually struggle with the language.
And that's the one thing I hate that the South African government does. It forces change. Like that's why I hate Stellenbosch. Even if it's Afrikaans, it's needed to stop alienation, because those Afrikaans people do not want to be forced into something. Let them go to Afrikaans University. That's fine. It's good. Do not take that away, because that's why I hate that movement, that whole remove Afrikaans from Stellenbosch. That is forcing stuff on people. That's the only reason people feel alienated, and they have to feel the need to tell people they aren't. Let it happen naturally. Why the fuck do we need to just have to remove everything? It's not. That's all.
I just want to emphasize on South African government, because Afrikaans, the Afrikaans government, they also force change. And now apartheid's going. Now apartheid, the ANC is going. Okay, now we're trying to correct this. Now let's overcorrect this. So. Yeah, South African government.
I feel sometimes black people, I get a sense of white guilt or sometimes like that, where I feel like they sort of not worship, but there's this intrinsic downtrodden behavior sometimes with people where they feel like that because I'm black I mustn't speak to you and I mustn't say stuff to you, and that makes me feel a little bit more self-aware of my skin color, because I can't broach anything if they're not willing to broach with me. Oh, my boss, like that sort of behavior. It's hectic, like, and they do, and that comes from them. That's not us, but that makes you feel guilty because you feel like you shouldn't. Actually, I'm your sister. Don't do that to me. You cannot be a leader if you're going to victimize yourself. You can't say, okay, I'm a black man, but I've actually been so downtrodden my whole life that I'm just going to still add to the whims of the white man. It's never going to work. You've actually got to be, I'm that black empowerment of, or black consciousness through Steve Biko, where it was think, and be black and be happy about it. Don't sort of like whim to whites.
And that's why I don't like white guilt. Like it wasn't me. I do not feel I need to be sorry for what my parents did. I will try and rectify that. Like I keep telling my mom and my dad, we're the generation that has to fix up the fuck ups you made.
My dream is basically to just become like a touring band.
My dream is to travel the world and meet incredible people.
My dream is to become a war journalist.
And my dream is just to study architecture, study interior design, and then change our country's social integrity, just combine everything, fix what is there, and just get people together.
My dream is basically to use my graphic design to empower the world with a different look on visual communication.
My dream is to influence people to start thinking.
My dream is to basically just be happy.